Hi. Twomad is a creator with 4.7 million subscribers across 3 separate channels. You may know him as the guy who invaded Zoom calls in 2020, or as the guy from the Goodnight Girl meme.
Good night, girl. I'll see you tomorrow.
His videos are fast-paced, and he has brought in millions of views from his high-energy delivery and his super tight editing. His video ideas are unique, and he has never been afraid to make fun of himself or to get into beef with someone else. He's also showcased his editing skills for other creators, such as on the Cold Ones podcast.
No, Twomad, put your channel up on screen. He edited this.
He's even demonstrated his relevancy by doing a photo shoot with Belle Delphine back in 2022, which I personally thought was hilarious. People meme on her hard, but if you read between the lines, she's a pretty smart businesswoman. The drama. What actually happened? So Twomad has always pushed boundaries. He even got banned off Twitch in 2019 for showing off his little friend in an Omegle stream, which people initially took quite well. But like any boundary pusher, he seemed to feel this innate self-destructive drive to push those boundaries way past their elasticity until they reach breaking point. In 2023, Twomad started posting a lot on Twitter. No, really, I mean a lot. On screen right now, what we're scrolling through is just 24 hours of his most recent posting at the time of writing. This is colloquially referred to as schizo posting. In 2023, Twomad posted this tweet. For reference, Brianna Gay was a teen murdered in England with some supposition that it was due to her being transgender. He says he didn't know. But personally, without any basis for my opinion whatsoever, I do feel like that if he had known when he did it, it really would have been very much in line with his base personality and the direction that he was going with his posting, but we can't say for sure. I also feel that way because he spoke of the situation in this clip right here.
That's the word, troll.
Yeah, trolling. It's a brotheration, speculador.
Trolling. You never did a little patrolling?
Exactly.
And the wave of controversy inspired Goldie Bell to come out with her accusations of SA against him. He usually denies these allegations, albeit in his own deranged manner. Goldie provided evidence like him spamming her, a contract that he had made and signed to convince her to spend time with him again, and his recorded apology.
I made like sexual advances you weren't comfortable with, you know what I mean? And I truly do regret all of that so much.
He swears the apology was ingenuine and doesn't constitute any real evidence because he didn't mean any of the things that he was saying in it, as he was given notes by one of her friends on what he should say to make her feel better. Goldie Bell now has a civil suit launched against him, and I can't seem to find any information on an outcome after it's been postponed, so either it still hasn't happened yet or the outcome isn't public. It's worth noting that we really don't know what happened because Twomad has evidence too, and it gives a very different narrative of things. He also further stated,
I tell my story, then it all goes away basically. But there's a court case.
so because we can't really know what's going on, I don't think it's fair to speculate on the truth of what the situation may be, but he definitely doesn't do himself any favors by making statements like this.
So many fucking dudes that you guys stress on a day-to-day basis have done that same shit, if not worse. All the time! It happens. Because it's just like fucking biological,
It's really hard to figure out exactly how much he's admitting to or denying under the 10 layers of...
What happened to Twomad is he's based. Too based. Twomad too based. Based. Extreme based behavior. Big based. Based. That's based. Based. And it makes sense.
Hey, Future Panic here. I'd seen other creators' videos with Twomad in it, but for a lot of the time he seemed like he was memeing, so I didn't want to include most of it. But then this video by Tom Dark autoplayed when I was about to head out for a run, and it was really interesting, so I wanted to really quickly turn around, come back, film this before the nice light was gone so I can try and get this video out as quickly as possible. I thought I'd just retroactively add in some of the clips that pertain to the previous discussion that we were having. He still wasn't serious the whole time and did do some light trolling.
Also, I'm gonna go to jail or something.
Really?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you're trolling.
But it seemed to be a much more level-headed, considered discussion than I'd previously seen from him. So firstly, about Brianna Gay. He admits to absolutely knowing what he was doing with that and knowing who she was before he posted her.
That one was not an accident. Well, the thing is people get really triggered by like talking about kids and then dead people, stuff like that, which is why I chose it, because it's such a good combo.
Secondly, he also states that although he did pressure Goldie Bell into sleeping with him,
The thing is, I definitely pressured her, right? I absolutely did. Since day one, it was just like the same question.
it did not reach the level of criminal coercion,
It's not criminal coercion.
especially as weapons were not used, which she alleges in her court case. He also gave an explanation for his behavior with Goldie Bell.
I'm like a f***ing virgin. It's not like I know what I'm doing. I don't know how to secure sex. If I knew how to get sex from girls, I would have done that.
And another one for his choice of action afterwards, of how he chose to handle the entire situation and the attention he was getting.
I understand that it sucks to be hated by the population, not when it makes you money, not when it builds a character arc that people will remember.
All right, bye. Back to the video. On his posting. On the internet, being based is like flying close to the sun. You get more and more attention and clout the closer and closer you get to it. But the moment you get too close, it's an instant fall from grace. People no longer believe that he is just being base. They actually now seem to think that he is legitimately mentally ill. And as we all know, actual mental illness is icky. Merely satirizing it though, endlessly entertaining. Go figure. Being based is essentially where you push the limit of what you can say to its maximum without being cancelled. It's basically just a form of extreme humor where the humor in it comes from the fact that you're saying something really, really inappropriate and the supposition that the person saying it actually means what they say, regardless of whether or not that's true. It first started out to mean that you were acting like you were on drugs and then graduated towards just being unapologetically yourself. And then it's kind of been adopted to also mean that you're being unwoke. The combination of all these things at the moment. And to me, the type of posts that Twomad is making don't look particularly schizophrenic. So let me show you some that do. One of the hallmarks of schizophrenia is delusions. So these subreddits over here show some examples of very delusional people. It shows people out of touch with reality who have a narrative in their head that is classified as delusional as it cannot be changed by any evidence provided to the contrary. And we can't even say these posts are necessarily schizophrenic, as there is a whole range of reasons why someone may be psychotic. And for some people, the term schizoposting is separated from the diagnosis of schizophrenia, but in reality, it often isn't, because it directly means posting like a schizophrenic. And to further that, Twomad has said on several occasions that the reason he acts the way he does is because he's schizophrenic. But as it's kind of messed up to speculate baselessly on someone's mental health, we're just going to leave it there. We've only talked about the way that he's posted, not about what his mental health will be like. We're going to go off things that he's actually said himself to avoid any assumptions. When he says he's schizophrenic, he often does it very non-committally, much like he did in this interview for the Cold Ones podcast in November 2019.
Do you actually have schizophrenia? Absolutely. Do you have schizophrenia? Yes or no? It's gonna be a meme now. If I just don't answer, it could be like a big meme. Just schizophrenic fucking Twomad.
As you can see, it's always non-committally, and schizophrenia is always the butt of the joke, as if that may be the explanation for his behavior. Or not. Which just strengthens the idea that that is how schizophrenic people act. And as they make up only 0.3% of the population, one loud person like that can make a lot of difference to the stigma that people already have about schizophrenics. And often the stigma that he puts forward isn't even accurate. Here's one of him equating DID to schizophrenia. I personally have always wanted a straight answer as to if he's acting the way he was because he was based, or because if there was actually an underlying mental illness there. So honestly, I was pretty happy when I was watching his video response to Pumpupthemind, who's another creator that likes to make jokes about schizophrenia.
He's a little delusional in my opinion, maybe schizophrenic, actually. Now this may seem like schizophrenia, because it sure does to me, but the fear of nanomachines is shared by many schizophrenics. They're just normal people.
Twomad does sometimes break character from his unhinged persona, and we get this reasonable, well-spoken, seemingly intelligent dude who knows exactly what he's doing.
Because you're dumb. I have 150 IQ, okay? So...
In his own words on his Twomad 360 channel most recent video, Bella put a heart on your message. I miss the rage. Oompa says that Twomad is schizophrenic.
Claims that he's schizophrenic, whatever, and he fucking always shitposts and he wants to do the insanity plea.
To which he replies,
I'm not schizophrenic, I'm just based.
and then goes on to explain his motives.
I'm setting like a precedent of how based you can possibly be and survive with flying colors. If I do it, it changes how cancel culture works forever.
So I think this does answer the question, as it encompasses all the other times where he has said that he is schizophrenic as a part of his base persona. And this isn't to say that he isn't struggling, but I think the based over schizophrenic narrative just fits the situation quite well. Why the stereotype is harmful. The power of words. If you made it this far, thank you. Why am I so worked up about this? Well, people with schizophrenia are an extremely disparaged group. At 0.3% of the population, they have no bargaining power by scale, no voice to say, hey, could you stop equating every single unhinged act you ever see to schizophrenics? I kind of hate that people always make that assumption about me now. There's a dozen different reasons for unhinged behavior, but it always gets linked back to that tiny group of people. And the ones that you hear about in public, you hear about them because they're loud, because they're making a fuss. The quiet ones who get on with their day, you may not even notice that they're schizophrenic. They may be stable and on meds and work really, really hard to stay that way, but always still have that prejudice outrun them no matter where they go because of people like Twomad. And it is just so culturally acceptable to dunk on schizophrenics. So, I'm schizophrenic. And with my view count, it probably means that I'm the only one here with it. It also means I can't drink or do drugs, and I love drugs. It means I've lost a job because I stupidly told my boss about it, and she had her own prejudices about it already. It means I'm scared to date because I don't know when to tell someone. And most of all, it means that you get this look of pity anytime someone finds out. It didn't even develop for me properly till I was 32. Just came out of nowhere. And one of the worst parts about it is the judgment that's just being further encouraged by people like Twomad. And I used to think words had no power. They were just words. I'm half Chinese and I have been called slurs for being Chinese, and it was just water off a duck's back. So when I heard people use the term schizo and other sorts of words like that, I thought, that doesn't sound like it bothers me. And because I've had slurs used on me that didn't bother me, schizo shouldn't bother you. It's just a bunch of letters put together. What does it matter? Well, it bothers me now. And I can't change it. It's just part of who I am. It's a forever flaw. It's not just skin deep. It's literally my brain on a fundamental level. It's the way the dopamine channels are lined up. It's the hormones that it makes for it to sit in its own juices all day. It's the structure of the white and the gray matter. It is literally who I am. And there is nothing I can do to change that. It bothers me. And I get it now, and I shouldn't have been so flippant about it at a time when I didn't know what it was like to be stigmatized in that way with a word that defines who you are at your very core. I know a lot of people won't agree, but I genuinely think it's something that you have to experience to understand how crappy it can be. And it would be a lot easier if you also didn't have to fight such intense prejudice everywhere you went along with it. Because it's really like half of the struggle is the disorder, half of the struggle is how everyone else acts around it. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you got this far, it really does mean a lot to me. But that's it. That's it. That's the whole video. Thank you for your time and have a lovely week. Okay, bye.